Hey guys, welcome here to what was known as the Scott Wyatt Podcast. It is now known as the Scott Show, and we are debuting this week on iHeartRadio. And Father's Day is tomorrow, which is the Sunday before you're going to be listening to this or seeing this. And so I got my dad here, Scott Ferris. So happy early Father's Day to you.
Oh, thank you, son.
And so basically what we're going to kind of do is just kind of some people may know that we played together in Midwest Avenue and had for years.
Yep.
But let's kind of just go back to the beginning and maybe tell me when did you first get into music? I know that, and how did that start?
I was in about third grade, or so, and my brother Jeff he played drums in fifth grade school band, and so I just started beating on his drum, and that's how I got started on that. And he tried to teach me guitar, but my fingers just don't work that way. I don't know how they do it, but they do it anyway.
There is actually, I remember as a kid and at different times, I remember there is one song you can play on guitar, which is Wipeout.
Yeah, barely.
Oh,
No, I just stick to the drums. That's easier for me, and
yeah.
I picked it up and been doing it ever since. So,
well, I remember seeing some pictures that Grandma had of you playing the drums in your bedroom. You had the drum set in there.
Yep.
So what if you had to pick say two or three bands or artists that you were say learning from or playing to? Who would that be?
Oh, Kiss for one.
Yeah.
Kiss. Hey. And probably some other ones that you haven't heard of, like Vandenberg.
Okay.
They were big back in the 80s. And just a lot of old stuff like mixture like Bobby Goldsboro.
Okay.
Some Ray Stevens, just whatever kind of rock and roll stuff, was popular back then. But anyway, no, I took lessons in school, and most of it is just learn
Marching band type stuff, like school band.
I was in marching band. I was in stage bands, played at basketball games and stuff like that, and did a few high school dances back when I've been in lots of bands, of course, you know that. But
what would you say was if you remember, what would you say was your first gig?
My first paying gig.
Paying gig. Yeah, paying gig.
My first paying gig, I was in 7th grade, and I played 8th grade dance with my brother Jeff and Jack Steggy. And
Jack Steggy plays with Off the Wall out of Springfield right now.
But that was my first paying gig, and we played there and North Green and Winchester 8th grade dances.
Okay. And
I've just been going ever since,
How much did you make that first gig?
$60.
Dang, that's not a bad deal.
No, but we had to play Barry Manilow, so I made him pay me more.
Barry Manilow, holy smokes! I haven't heard any of his stuff in ages.
Barry Manilow.
And don't plan on it.
Yeah. But no, it was a good time. Life on the road back then was a lot different than it is now. I used to have to ride in the back of a pickup truck with the equipment.
Any way to get there, right?
Yeah.
So after high school and stuff, what was your next? Was you in Two for the Show? Before that you were.
I was with
Flatland, Notorious Nightcrawlers, and then Flatland.
Yep, and a band called Just Good Friends.
Okay.
With Mark Longmire.
With Mark Longmire?
Some people might know.
Hey, shout out to Mark Longmire's son, Patrick Longmire. He just sent me a message last week. Asked me, hey, are you still doing your podcast? I'm like, yeah, I took 3 weeks off because I just moved into a new house and all that stuff. And he said he listens to the show while he's at work. So, Mark, Patrick, our dads played music together. That's wild. I did not know that. Mark's a super talented guy.
Yep. Yeah, we used to play over in Greenfield there a lot. Of course, that was when you were really little.
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't remember that. But no, I played in just about every local band around the North Green area. I
Right.
mean, at least once.
Gotcha.
And I fill in for, other bands if they
Right.
need their drummer happened to fall down. Well,
Get sick or
Flatland,
whatever.
Flatland. That's how they got a hold of me, and I started playing with them. As Danny Henry, their drummer at the time, was sledding and broke his collarbone, so he
shoot.
couldn't play for a long time.
It'd be
so-
kind of hard to play with a broken collarbone.
Oh, you can't. It's impossible. You can't do it. Trust me. But anyway, that's how I got playing with them, and just playing kind of, with whoever, and whatever kind of music it is. I filled in with doo-wop bands, back years ago too. They'd say, hey, and then I played with Two for the Show. Of course, that was one of
Right.
my biggest highlights.
Right. Well, kind of explain to the folks that probably don't know that listen to this or are watching here on YouTube, what was Two for the Show, kind of like in a nutshell.
Well, if anybody remembers the Gong Show, which was back in the 70s, and
It's like a talent show, kind of like
Yeah,
American
it was-
Idol before American Idol type thing.
Yeah, it was made out in Hollywood. It was on TV, and the band actually won the Gong Show. And I think they won a trophy, a dirty sock, and a check for $342.13. That was the prize that they got for
That sounds like a hell of a deal if you ask
yeah
me.
to drive all the way from
Right.
Illinois to Hollywood.
I
you
probably
know.
barely even covered gas in the hotel it took
And
for the time.
they took a hearse out there. They rented a hearse from a guy and took it, but
And so Two for the Show was at
But
that time
they-
was a duo,
they were
And
they were
a trio?
They were a trio.
and then it became a
And
full-on
then they-
band after that, didn't
Then
it?
they became a full-on band, yeah. And sadly, one of the guys that was with them on the Gong Show,
It passed away.
passed
Yeah.
away. And so, of course, then they hired in new people, Jeff
Mm-hmm.
Allwood, Scott Kirk, which I graduated with. And we ran around best friends together. He played drums, I played drums. And then one day he just happened to call me and said, hey, man, you want a job playing with Two for the Show? I was like, sure. He said, you had a job down in Myrtle Beach
Okay.
and doing sound
Oh,
at a
oh,
casino.
he was running sound even back then.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Scott Kirk
Yeah.
was. And so
That's
I
wild.
took
I didn't
his
know he
place
did that.
in Two for the Show, and I traveled with them for 5.5 years all over the United States, playing with different stars and
Right.
different venues in Branson and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So-
Now, Branson, weren't you guys like the house band for? Or no, you played you were the backing band for
Barbara Fairchild.
Barbara Fairchild. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
I actually wasn't, but they were before I started.
Okay, I got
But we were real good friends with Barbara Fairchild.
Right.
She every time we'd go down to Branson, we'd catch up with her, and we got to see her theater as it was being built.
Oh yeah, in Branson.
In Branson.
Wow.
And we got to meet. Oh, we went to the grand opening and sat right in the middle, center stage. Tony Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people might remember him. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree.
Right.
He sat right behind me, and the Platters.
Yep, I knew who the Platters are.
Yeah, they were an old Motown group. So got to meet them. Got to meet a lot of stars down there, and it was good. It was a good, exciting time, But
And you guys had a big tour bus too, didn't you?
oh yeah, we got the record for going the farthest out in the cornfield in Wisner, Nebraska. Yeah. We jumped about. We were in there about 30 feet. In
My
in a
goodness.
40-foot tour bus. So we were,
Yeah, that bus was huge.
we were flying, but yeah, it was a nice bus, nice tour bus. like what you see the big stars.
Yeah.
You know, they had 2 living rooms in it and everything.
Well, you guys, I mean, I would say that Two for the Show was a huge success. I mean,
yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
I remember going and seeing you guys as a kid, you know, and you guys, I mean, those big crowds every time. I mean,
yeah, we played quite a few big venues.
for some reason, what always stands out in my mind was the Milton Corn Festival. I'm wanting to say, does that ring a bell?
Milton, yeah,
Milton, yeah.
yeah.
Is that what it was called, the Milton Corn Fest? Okay, yeah.
It was a Milton Corn.
Maybe I
Fest.
remember it because you guys did record the whole live show, and you guys
In
had
front of the bus.
the tour bus behind. I maybe because I
Yeah.
watched that a lot as a
Yeah,
kid.
that-
Me and Josh did, my cousin.
That was a practice. Actually, it was on some students from the what do you want to call it? The theater crew down in Carbondale at SIU. It was a project for them to come up and record us, and then they put us on their college TV station and the college radio station, you know, down there, and we did a lot of the Jimmy Dean country showdowns,
Right.
stuff like that, and it was just a good time, you know.
Heck yeah.
But 5.5 years, I got tired of
Yes.
all the traveling, and not really tired of it. It just I had enough.
It can,
you
yeah,
know.
it happens.
But
So after Two for the Show, what was
Yeah.
the next thing after that? I'm trying to think.
after that
Was that TNT?
was TNT and the Dynamite Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yep, with Tim and Tammy Welch, and we were the house band over in Taylorville,
Nashville North, wasn't it?
Nashville North. Yeah, and we opened for. Well, I counted 86 stars
Right.
over there. And our last show was with Charlie Daniels. We did 2 shows with him. That was
Wow.
our last time playing, and they
Right,
closed it down.
Yeah. For those
Right.
guys that don't know, just to give you a little context to Nashville North. It was in Taylorville, Illinois, which is near Springfield, and they had like a lot of big country acts come through. Like I remember Keith Urban, Marshall Tucker Bain, you said Charlie Daniels,
Yep.
Loretta Lynn.
Right away. Yeah.
There was tons of people.
Just-
So I mean, it was a country music venue, and it was a fun place to go see shows. There wasn't a bad seat in the house because the floor was like tilted, I guess, or set up at a slant.
Like a movie theater
Yeah.
type venue. Yeah, it held. I think it was like 700 and something people. So it was pretty good size. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it was. Wasn't a bad seat in the house, you know.
Right.
So, but anyway, that we did that for 2.5 years, and then it closed down.
Right.
And then me and you,
Yep.
and Josh, and
Yeah, that would put us about that time
About-
frame. To
can't
put a
remember.
ribbon on TNT and Dynamite Cowboys, I want to kind of get your thoughts on this really quick. Another player in TNT Dynamite Cowboys was Jake Clayton.
Yep.
And at the time, he was a pretty young guy, but he played like
Yeah,
over
he
20
was
instruments.
18.
18 and played 21 instruments, I
Yep.
remember was kind of the promo.
he could play anything with keys and strings.
Yep. And he's down in Nashville. He's doing his own thing. Got solo records out, and he's also he was just on the CMT Awards. What you think about that? Him backing up Tanya Tucker.
It's amazing to see him on TV, and I just talked to him on the phone. You know,
Right.
It's like, hey man, I just talked to that guy. You
Yeah.
know, I just talked to him on the phone the other day. You know,
And he's a pro, man. I tell you, heck
Well,
of
and
a
he
player.
gets out there and he went down there and did it all on his own. I mean, you know, he pushed his way in and got in. So,
As
well,
they say,
actually,
the cream rises to the top. You know,
Yeah.
his talent speaks for itself, and it's.
oh yeah, he's very good.
He just recently. Just a side note here. There's this girl, Carly Driftwood, who I met at a songwriters round, and she recorded her album with him. And I think that Jake played most of like all the stringed instruments,
all
and
that, yeah.
he was, and it's a fantastic record. So if you guys want to check out some new music, go check out Carly Driftwood. Too Mean to Die is the album, and
or check out Jake Clayton.
Show Me State of Mind is
he's-
his new album that just came out.
Yeah, his first album was called Kicking Up Dust, and that's a good song. It just amazed me what he does, you know.
The thing that
down there,
fascinates me
so.
about Jake, I mean, not only he's a fantastic player and singer, but he put out some instrumental. He could put out a whole instrumental record some years back, And that was very interesting. You don't see that, like, I don't ever really see a lot of artists doing that anymore. But yeah, so that was kind of cool to see. So I mean, Jake Clayton, check him out too. He's got tons of great stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And on a lot of the big hits you've heard on the radio, he's probably been one of the ones playing the strings on it. So
yeah, he's played with what was it, Jimmy Wayne?
Yeah, Jimmy Wayne.
He actually is the one that stole Jake from TNT and the Dynamite Cowboys. Yeah, because we were doing a show with him.
Yeah.
Over at
I thought that was the
Nashville.
Oak Ridge Boys for some reason.
Uh-uh.
It was Jimmy
Wayne. Yeah, he was doing. That was back when he came out with that song.
Do you believe me now? Paper Angels. Yes, yeah,
that was his big song back then. And then they asked Jake to get up and play fiddle with them.
Yeah.
So he did. He got up there and played with them, and then got to talking to Jimmy Wayne afterwards, and Jimmy Wayne asked him if he wanted to go on the next tour with him. So
it's an easy answer. Easy answer.
Yeah. So Jake took off, and of course at that time we had the old Red Barn,
right, like an Opry,
which is an Opry, a family Opry, just popcorn, soda, and just a good time, and so he was actually playing both places. He'd go to Nashville one weekend and when he could or whatever,
right.
And then he would, come to play at the barn or do shows with us. So
burn the candle at both ends.
He was burning a lot of gas. Put it that way.
At that time, he was probably still living in Missouri.
Yeah, he was still living in
Mexico,
Avaz.
Yeah.
But it's I've been everywhere pretty much.
I know.
Seems like, but I enjoy what we're doing now, though.
Yeah,
that's what,
that's kind of what we're getting to. We'll kind of just hop along a little bit throughout the timeline. Like you said, after TNT, then you and Jeff, my uncle, your brother,
right.
My cousin Josh, his dad, we all formed the original lineup of what is Midwest Avenue.
Yeah.
And our first show was at I think the first live performance we did was at one of my high school chorus concerts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we set up in the corner of the gym there.
Sure did.
And then we kind of evolved from there. I mean, we did a lot more originals than we only did. I would say maybe 3 or 4 covers from what I remember.
Yeah, because we did a whole CD at that point. I had a whole CD, remember?
That point. It's actually
that was all your songs that you and Josh had written.
Yeah, it's unique. The EP, yeah. It's actually on. I put it up on it. It's on all the streaming services, just kind of so people can go back and check it out.
There's one song that you didn't leave on there though that I wanted you to.
Oh, the infamous The Goalie.
The Goalie, yeah.
I tell you, I still cannot. I've looked through all my CDs. I'm going to have to go through my mom's again, try to find that song and put it out because people would get a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like a comedy song that me and my buddy Matt Seats wrote. and it's in my hometown region. It's pretty infamous, and people still remember it to this day.
It's hilarious.
It was one of the untitled tracks. It wasn't even listed on the track listing. If you listed the whole CD and you got to that, you found a pot of gold.
that was the last song, but it wasn't on the set list, like I said, the song list. But
we recorded that EP with Everett Bugg at his home studio in the big city of Hillview, Illinois.
Yeah.
And Everett Bugg is super talented and successful in his own right as a musician and artist. Super. I mean, I know he plays more instruments than the guitar, but he's a heck of a lead guitar player.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's one of the best around.
I agree, big time. And
well, he was raised in a family.
Right, the Bugg family.
The whole family played instruments, and they had the Bugg family Opry, and it was all brothers, sister-in-laws,
and they kind of brought that back. It's still going now in a different location, but
they're kind of switching around now. But
they've kind of kept it alive throughout the years.
Sure, yeah. But
a lot of them still play. I mean, there's Everett, Marty, Scotty, Connie, Brian, Nikki.
Yep.
There's probably more, and I never met or ever heard Everett's dad play, but I hear that he was super talented.
Good steel guitar player. Mm-hmm. He's like one of the best ones around too. Yeah.
And they traveled a lot back in the day.
Sure, too. Yeah. Well, they actually called me back when I was I might have been a freshman in high school. the dad called me at home and asked me if I'd play a bar up in Root House because they didn't have a drummer. Well, of course, Dad, Grandpa,
Right.
nope, you're not going to. And I was like, oh man, come on.
Right.
I said, here, you talk to him. So Dad talked to him. Dad says, absolutely not. You're not playing in no bar.
And you're
when
probably
you're-
sitting there thinking, like, if there is a chance,
Yeah.
come on, give me the,
Yeah.
let's do this.
But it didn't happen, so,
Yeah.
but,
Well, hey, Neil say it worked out. So
yeah.
yeah, so we did the Midwest Avenue stuff as me, you, Josh, and Jeff. For a while, we did shows at the Great River Road Opry, who the
Yep.
Bugs operated,
Mhm.
and ran sound for. And then after that, things kind of fizzled out. I think whenever, Josh moved. He got
Josh, yeah.
his job and then
Yep.
moved. And
Yeah,
we had John Nicola come in and play bass.
Right.
Super talented guy. God rest his soul. He passed away some years back. And Robert Douglas even set in on some harmonica, and he's another talented dude that from the area.
Oh, yeah, from Hillview. Yep.
Heck of a showman, great
Yep.
stage man.
Hell, and I was also in a band with him and Sam
What was that
Dean.
band called?
Easy Money.
Easy Money. That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You guys played a lot. That was
Yeah.
actually about the same time period because me and Josh came and played like one of the songs that we wrote with you. And I think Tim subbed in on bass, your bass player.
Oh, Tim Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then after
Yeah.
that, I think Midwest Avenue kind of, I don't remember like kind of really what led to the fizzling out of it because there was never like a true end to it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it just kind of was me and Josh growing
Well,
up.
you got
and then-
Ellen. You got to doing some of your solo stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you were busy doing that, which is great.
That was a
And
wild time.
You're doing fantastic. Very proud of my son right here. I'll tell you that.
Well, I appreciate
Very,
that.
very proud.
And then we'll see what it might have been. It was right. Well, it would have been in about 2009 when I went on the USO tour and came back from that, and I started like trying to put together a band, and it was me and you, and then we got Steve Vincent, James Beaver Hopper, and Nikki Bug at the time. Yeah. She so that was the band for a while, and then Nikki ended up getting pregnant with twins. And
Well,
Nikki is a small girl and getting pregnant with twins. I think she played every show she could, even on bed rest. She was sitting on a stool singing.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And
Well, it's kind of a funny story, really, how this all happened. It's all guys, and they only had one girl singer. And it was originally supposed to have been Megan Hedinger,
Yep.
is who Scotty got to start as our female singer.
Yep.
Well, before we could actually start a band, she got pregnant. So, therefore, she couldn't play,
Yep.
couldn't sing. So we got Nikki. Then Nikki got pregnant. And everybody's going, what in the world's going on with your guys' band?
And then by that time that Nikki was out, then Megan had already had her baby, so then Megan started up with the band as she was going to be the original anyways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild. But then once Megan joined, it seemed like we kind of started gaining more traction.
Right.
Because we had played maybe 8 shows with Nikki, and then when our Megan joined, that's when we started doing the stuff with like Macomb
Right.
and did the country showdowns and stuff like that.
Yep.
And
And won several of those.
yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that was interesting that popped up on my Facebook timeline was it was 7 years ago today that we played a show at Cruisin's on Farmington Road up in Peoria, Illinois. Don't know if you remember that place or not. It was the first show where, Megan, 2 weeks prior to that show, she had decided to quit the band, and we were kind of, what are we going to do?
Oh,
And then so we
okay.
learned a whole bunch of songs, and it was my first time literally singing all the songs because at the time, when Megan was with Midwest Avenue, I maybe sang 2 or 3 songs, and she sang the other 85%, and Steve Vincent sang 1 or 2. And by this time, Steve Farmer had joined in on bass after Beaver Hopper had left. And Farmer's still with us today. He's as much as almost as like a key to all this as we are. It feels like to me.
Sure
And
is.
but then I remember that show just distinctly in my mind because it was a lot of pressure because the first time I'd ever done that, like a 3-hour show and sang all the songs.
An all-guy band,
Yeah, it
With
was-
having a female singer, it really opened up a lot of doors.
It did.
And, of course, helped you with, you didn't strain your voice
Yep.
as bad. And
As the years later would have come, whenever we were burning, playing 3 or 4 shows every weekend.
oh,
and,
my goodness, yes, we were busy.
Yeah, I mean, we played. I had an old calendar. I was looking at all the dates and stuff that we had played. I mean, it was every weekend was booked for years, and we had a lot of fun times.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any shows from that time period? This is about the time period that we released the Red Wine EP that a lot of y'all know about. Is there any shows or times in that time period that stand out to you?
Yeah, when we went to Champaign. And we stayed all night in Champaign.
Are you talking
of
about the
course.
time that we played whenever nobody was there besides the truck driver?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, and then we played the table afterwards, remember?
Yes.
You guys playing guitars, and I was beating on a table. And
Yep.
yeah, that was
Because
it.
people showed up afterwards.
Yeah, there's a few people. in
Yeah,
there.
literally, we played. It was a thing they were running on Sunday or Saturday night, something like that, called Boots and Booze, at the Canopy Club in Champaign. And Canopy Club's a huge venue, so it was a nice
Yeah.
place to play.
Yeah, it was a nice
And
place.
so we get there, we start playing, and there had been promotion, but all the college kids. This was in December, I think.
Yeah, it was cold,
wintertime,
snow.
and there was nobody there because all the college kids were on winter break, And there was one guy, I still remember this like it was yesterday. He was setting up the bar at the very end on the right because the bar was kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
And he, I was talked to him on one of our breaks. He was a truck driver in town, but he was from Decatur. So we played in Champaign and nobody showed up. It's like somebody from Decatur.
Yeah, but we'd stay all night at
Yes.
farmer's brother-in-law's house.
Yep, it was a kind of just an empty house, not
It
really
was-
furnished or anything.
No,
we had
drywall
cots,
laying all over.
cots and air
Air
mattresses.
mattresses, yeah. Oh, we stayed up all night laughing.
That was probably one of the nights I
Yeah.
laughed the hardest I ever had in my life.
Well, and then on our way back, it started snowing. We knew it was.
Or no, that wasn't the same time, but that was a Champagne show
was
as
a
well. We
Champagne.
played at a place that's now closed called Memphis on Main, and
Okay.
it was a double bill. We were like the first band on. We played a 2-hour set. Then there was another band on, and they were calling for like massive snows. And I think you and Vincent were riding together.
Yeah.
And Farmer was staying in Champaign. You guys were debating on it. Or
No, we stayed all night.
you guys stayed all night.
We stayed all night.
and I drove back.
Got up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't stay.
I
but-
drove back in my Ford Ranger with rear-wheel drive, and from Champaign to my hometown of Whitehall, it took me, I think I got home at like 6 in the morning. It took me like 8-9 hours to get home. I was driving 10 miles an hour, couldn't see in front of me because the snow was so high. I drove along and used like the ridges on the side of the road that are supposed to like wake you up when you go off the road. That was what I was hitting to keep me going in the
right-
area.
Yeah. Well, Vincent, we drove all the way from Champaign, and we started hitting some real heavy snow about Springfield.
Mhm, yeah,
And,
that was the worst part of that from what I
Yeah,
remember.
and then of course heading on down towards Whitehall, it's just deeper and deeper and deeper until there. I mean, there was cars off the road everywhere.
Yep.
Well, Vincent, of course, and we were in that van, and he was just plowing through, man. If the cars were sliding off the road, he'd go right on through the middle of them or whatever.
Yep.
Well, he drops us off in Root House, where I lived at the time.
Yeah.
And okay, well, I'm this close to home, no big deal. He gets about halfway in between Whitehall and Root House. It was only a 3-mile stretch
Yep.
for anybody that knows the area. And he slid off in a ditch. We made it all that way, and then he finally slid off in the ditch.
I think I remember him saying that.
Yeah. He
Oh, man.
had to get pulled out.
I
But
tell you, that van of Vincent's, that was well. A quick shout out to Stephen Dale Vincent. He's got a new record out right now called "What a Journey."
Mm-hmm.
He's a former player of Midwest Avenue and one of the. He is a cousin.
cousins. Yep.
Yep. Is he your first cousin?
No,
Second?
he's my second cousin.
So he'd be my third cousin.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's like a brother to us.
Yep.
He has a brother to us, and
Yeah.
But yeah, he's no longer with the group. He's doing his own solo thing now, putting out some Christian music and some great stuff. So be sure you go check that out too. Just want to give him a quick plug here. Stephen Dale Vincent, What a Journey is the album, and it's out right now.
Yeah, don't miss it. It's a good one. I've heard several songs off of it.
And but that van of his, it's been everywhere. All the shows that we played. I mean,
no, I know that van went everywhere.
Trying to think of if there's any other things that really, I mean, I could probably go on and on about.
There's all kinds of funny stuff that happened to us.
Right.
We played that one time, and we were supposed to be playing at the concert in the cornfield.
Oh yes.
And we got everything all set
on
up
the
there
big
in
stage.
Jacksonville.
We were pumped. Yeah.
And it was who was it? Was it supposed to be playing? The big name was Jane Deere
Girls in Thompson Square.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got all set up, and it was looking cloudy and stormy, and sure enough, storm came in.
Yep.
Well, we ended up, Scotty made a few phone calls, and we ended up playing a bar in Root House.
we did.
We tore all our stuff down, loaded it all back up, drove all the way to Root House.
Yep.
Set back up, and then played 3 hours at a bar in Root House. So
yeah.
So it wasn't all bad.
We still got a little something out of it, and a lot of fun.
Oh
so.
yeah. There's.
I still, for some reason, it always pops in my head is a lot of the Hamburg, Illinois shows at a place called the Palace. Always just I mean, it's the most like inconspicuous looking place. You would be like nobody, like you wouldn't think it was a poppin' place, but at night if there's a band, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be just a great time and just packed.
Yeah.
And Calhoun County has always been a good place for us to play, and have always been super good to us. You know,
and another bar that we played at a lot was called the Sportsman, and it had a nice big stage right in the center of the bar, to where you could walk all around the band. You know.
You talking about there in Hardin?
Yeah.
On Main Street, you mean?
Well, it was Main Street. Yeah, it's Sportsman.
Okay. Yeah, that was I remember that. That was a cool stage.
Main Street, yeah. But yeah, we played over there in Calhoun and several different places.
Yeah, we even did the
corner.
Yeah, the corner tavern. Big John's. That's what. Big John's Corner Tavern. Yeah,
Big John's Corner Tavern.
Shout out to Big John if you're watching. But yeah, so Midwest Avenue, we ended up kind of just going our own ways there after a while, and then I started doing a solo thing. You've been playing at the church.
The church. It's a band called. It's a country
gospel. Is that right?
Gospel. Yeah, country gospel band called Crossover Country.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you want to look it up, it's under Gates to Glory Ministries, and it's a family owned and operated church, non-denominational. You don't have to wear shorts, flip-flops, whatever, you know. But we play music there every Sunday morning, and but church starts at 10. And then on the first Sunday of every month, we do an afternoon show from 3 to 5.
Right.
For people that want to come, and there's not a sermon or anything. It's just country gospel music.
Yeah.
And if we've been trying to get this guy here up there to play.
Maybe in a couple weeks once all this craziness and moving in gets through.
You got a lot on your plate now, so but we're still managing to get out there.
Yeah, so then we kind of, basically what happened, I've been playing a lot, I did my solo stuff for a while as Scott Wyatt, as you guys know, as we've talked about early on maybe about 10 episodes back of like doing a stage name, Scott Wyatt, because my real name is Scott Ferris, Scott Joseph Ferris, as I went as a solo artist in 2009, and this is my dad, he is also Scott Ferris. Does it ever weird you out that I used a stage name? It's like people are like, what is it? Did anybody ever ask you, like, what's that?
Oh, yeah, what's the deal? Did Scotty change his name? I'm like, not that I know of.
Right. It's just like I said on the podcast, I did a podcast solely on that because I knew it, because a lot of people had asked me that knew me personally, from Whitehall. And it's like our last name, Phares, is so. I mean, you probably heard it all your life, different pronunciations.
Oh, yeah.
And
Thousands.
yeah, exactly. And so I was like, what's something simple? And so I was like,
The funniest one was P. Hairs.
yeah, I still hear that sometimes.
P. Hairs.
Yeah, and so I used a stage name, which White is my grandma's last name, and you and her are both the reasons I got interested in even trying this whole music thing. So, because she pushed Elvis on me, and then of course you were in bands growing up as I was a kid,
You always listened to us in our basement.
Yeah.
I was in Notorious Nightcrawlers.
yeah.
And we started that band.
It was with Jim Grissom and Jim
Wolf
Fisher.
Grissom.
And Wolf was in that too? Yeah, that's right.
Kurt Hall.
Kurt, oh yeah. Heck,
Fish, Jim Fisher, and me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I remember you guys practicing down there and stuff. And,
yeah.
so then fast forward, I was doing my solo stuff, playing some shows at this nice place in Jerseyville called George's. And me and you hadn't played together in some years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the conversation started, but anyways, you end up having him come up and play drums, and me just on acoustic guitar at George's, and it was like we never even missed a beat.
Yeah.
So it was just like, just keep it on going. All them years playing, I think, with Midwest Avenue when we just one of them things.
And I think it's in the blood too, because I can automatically know what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I've never met
And
another drummer that could do that. So
we kind of have this brainwave goes back and forth, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of funny times up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even that's the thing about like being in a band and up on stage. There's a lot of things that happen on stage that the people out there watching don't even have a clue of what's going on.
It's fun.
It could be its own show. Maybe I'll figure out a way to catch the banter or something on stage. Yeah. But we kind of just kept moving forward with that and doing some more shows together. And then I kind of start throwing. We had the Midwest Avenue reunion show in November of last year, 2018,
which is a big success.
Oh, huge success! I couldn't believe the turnout. It was fantastic. And I kind of put the idea in my head, I don't know if it did for yours, to maybe, hey, we still got something here.
Right.
And so we kind of kept on rolling.
Well, we still do have something going on.
Yes.
Whether it be me and you playing.
Yeah.
And really George's is like one of those venues that it's a small stage.
Yeah.
They're basically just wanting like a 1 or 2 band type show.
Yeah, the stage isn't big enough to hold any more than that. But it works out. Like a lot of I've had people tell me, it sounds like it's a full band up there, but I think that kind of comes from our experience of playing together for so long. We're able to make it sound fuller than what it is.
Yeah, you can do some of the bass stuff, and I follow with my bass drum, and it fills it out.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too off or anything. So So then I got contacted about playing. They wanted to hire Midwest Avenue to play the 4th of July celebration, the 4th of July blast in Jacksonville, Illinois. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to get the band, the Midwest Avenue, the full band, going back again. We're having our first practice next Saturday to get ready for this. And so we decided to go full on and full in. And we're going to start releasing new music. We just released a new single this last Friday called Cowboys Say Goodbye. It's already charting well with the streams, so thank you guys for checking that out. If you haven't, go check out Midwest Avenue, Cowboys Say Goodbye. It's a new single. And we're going to be releasing a new single again here, another single here shortly of an old song that was originally a Midwest Avenue song, but we never recorded it, Night Roads. And I ended up recording it during my solo project. So it's going to be, because they're 2 different versions, really.
Right.
I mean, the same guy singing it, but it's got different feels to it. So it's going to be interesting to see how Night Roads, how the folks that have heard it before dig the new version. It's to me, it's more Southern rock than the other version. Yeah. So I'm pretty interested to see where that goes. And we got another single that'll be out after that, and eventually we're going to put out a full record, but we're going to put some singles out there, get you guys in on what we're doing, and we're booking a ton of more shows, and so we're going to be out there, and we're going to see you on the road real soon. So, yeah, we're going to close it up here and go see everybody.
All right.
Happy Father's Day.
Hey, thank you, son.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Love you, man.
All right, love you too. And thank you for joining in on the first episode of The Scott Show here on iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. And check us out on Spotify as well. The Scott Show is streaming on there as well, or on YouTube. So, yeah, that's all I got for now. This is my dad, Scott Ferris. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch you all on down the road.
Have a good one.